In today's video, I wanted to expand upon my previous S550 drifting tips video I posted a while back. Keep in mind this is not a how to drift tutorial, just a video to help those that have chosen or are deciding to drift a S550 Mustang do so quickly and efficiently. I've been drifting my S550 Mustang for a year to almost 2 years now. I've learned a lot about how to drive this car, and now I can help all of you have an easier time drifting your car. This chassis is great for drifting, but it is slightly different from the typical drift cars that you see at the track. Conquer the steering. Your first challenge will be to conquer the car's steering behavior. The S550 Mustangs have a dual pivot or dual arm front suspension setup. This setup is used on many cars such as the newer BMWs like the F80 and G80, and it's also used in the Nissan 350 and 370Z. The benefits to this setup is that it provides greater stability at higher speeds and maintains its alignment throughout the car's suspension travel compared to your typical McPherson strut setup. With that said, this setup can reduce steering feedback, causing the car's steering to feel numb, mostly due to the electric steering rack. As far as the BMWs go, they have a very clever electric power steering setup that aids with the steering feel and self-steer. Unfortunately for the Mustangs, the steering rack doesn't react quickly at low speeds. So in the beginning, you will have to train yourself to be proactive with the steering. As you initiate a drift, you'll notice that the car will snap quickly and the steering can't keep up. To counteract this, you will have to react quickly with the steering as the car rotates. Simply letting the wheel go to let it countersteer will not always work with this vehicle. Like I said, you will have to help the car countersteer by adding or reducing your steering inputs. The best method I found in the beginning to help with this is by tracing the wheel. So you'll essentially follow the wheel at all times with at least one hand. This will help you feel that the steering needs you to add or reduce your inputs as you drift the car. This technique is usually referred to as bus driving and is great for slow drifting applications such as drifting on small courses that require lower speeds. On the other side of the spectrum, the faster the car is moving, the faster the steering will move. Therefore, the bus driving technique may not always be effective. I use the hand-over-hand technique. This technique will allow you to keep up with the steering when it is moving quickly, so your hand movements will also have to be quick to follow the steering wheel. Although this technique at first glance is frowned upon because you risk crossing your arms, it is still a great method to use for this application that will teach you how to react swiftly to the car's movements. After you get used to both methods, you'll be able to use each steering technique universally at any speed or through any situation. Transitions. Buy yourself some time. The S550 is very interesting when it comes to transitions. It is very snappy and agile, but the car also weighs 3,600 to 4,000 pounds depending on the version of the car you have. Imagine how snappy a S chassis or a Miata is, but now add twice or triple the weight to the vehicle while it's in motion. You have a lot of weight to slow down as the car rotates, so you need to buy yourself some time to transition and get it set at angle. You can achieve this by pulling the handbrake quickly between transitions. That'll slow the car's rotation slightly, thus allowing you to set it at your desired angle properly. Of course, you don't want to use the handbrake as a crutch or use it to the point that you stall your momentum on track. Just a quick pull will help the car stabilize through transitions without sacrificing your momentum. And don't be afraid to use the handbrake during transitions. For example, the RTR team used the handbrake after each transition. If you're thinking, hey, those cars are far from factory, another driver who has a setup that anyone can achieve named Justin Bauer also uses the handbrake after or before each transition. Pay close attention. You'll see that they are barely slowing down their momentum, if any at all. They are using the handbrake to simply slow down the car's rotation to acquire their desired angle and drive through the corner. Now the other technique, which is my favorite technique, is on throttle transitions. Remember when I said the Mustang is a little different? Well, in this case, you don't want to lift off throttle to transition. The Mustang has a lot of forward drive, meaning it wants to accelerate quickly and drift. I noticed that lifting off throttle to transition the car, or even being choppy with the throttle, greatly upsets the balance of the car's suspension. When you lift off throttle as you transition, the car immediately becomes unsettled, causing it to lose grip, and it will want to over-rotate. You'll have to stay on throttle as you transition the car. Then to stabilize the car's rotation, you will lift slightly off the throttle. Not completely, but just a little bit to allow it to stop rotating. Also, before you transition the car, refrain from angling up too much. If you do, it will cause the car to swing violently when you transition. So be nice during transitions and add angle as you go through the corner. Alright, so these are some simple but key driving techniques I learned driving the S550 platform so far. Now of course these tips mostly apply for stock setup S550s, because when you add angle kits and suspension upgrades to the car, it will of course give it different handling characteristics. And the beauty of all of this is that you can apply these tips however you want. Everyone's driving style is a little different, so have some fun with it. I hope this video really helped all of you that have been struggling to drive the S550 Mustang, or even some of you that are a little intimidated to buy one and drive one, or drift one I should say, because you know, when you see the in-car footage, it looks like there's a lot going on relative to the outside where it looks really smooth. Again, remember, this car is not any less competitive than any other car that is used for drifting. It just takes a different form of driving and different techniques to be able to handle it properly. And of course, if any of you found this video to be very helpful in any way, shape, or form, like the video, give me some feedback down in the comments, and of course subscribe if you want to watch my drifting journey. I'll see you guys in the next one.